Good afternoon, passengers. This is your captain speaking. Thank you for choosing to travel with Yale-NUS International, bringing you around the world in the last 80 days. We'd like to remind you that all mobile phones must be switched to silent mode for the duration of this trip, because audio signals might disrupt our sensitive equipment. I repeat, please either turn off your mobile phones or switch them to silent mode, or you'll quickly learn where the emergency exits are. Once again, thank you for cruising with Yale-NUS International, and I hope you have a pleasant journey. Crew, please prepare for ceremony.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony is about to begin. Please rise to welcome the ceremonial procession. Please be seated. Mdm Kay Kuok, Chair of the Yale-NUS College Governing Board.
President Pericles Lewis, Yale-NUS College.
President Tan Cho Chuan, National University of Singapore.
Professor Jonathan Halloway, Dean of Yale College.
Mr. Gautam Banerjee, member of the Yale-NUS College Governing Board.
Distinguished guests.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to the First Year Assembly 2014. My name is Kevin.
And my name is Key, and we will be your hosts for this afternoon.
Wow, Key, can you believe it? It's been one whole year since we were last here at our own First Year Assembly.
I know, and what a year. It's amazing to think that just 1 year ago, we were shaking hands on the lawn of Berkeley College at Yale. And now here we are, 1 year later, memories, meals, classes, conversations. It's amazing to see the community we've created in just 1 year.
And we are here today to celebrate the new incoming class of first-year students who have come from over 30 countries from around the world to take part in this great college experience. All of us from the class of 2017 are very excited to see our student body double in size, and we're looking forward to a great year ahead. Here's a big round of applause to congratulate the class of 2018.
We are also very grateful to all our guests who have made the time to come welcome our new first years today. Everyone here has contributed to the school and enriched our college experience in one way or another, whether as a donor or industry partner, staff or faculty member, parent, relative, or friend. Let's give a big round of applause for all of our guests.
But of course, the class of 2018 wouldn't be here if not for the tireless efforts of our admissions team, who have read literally thousands of applications to pick out the wonderful, talented, and diverse individuals you see here today. And who better to congratulate you than the Dean of Admissions and Financial Aid, Dean Kristen Green.
Yale-NUS Governing Board Chair, Mdm Kay Kuok, National University of Singapore President, President Tan Cho Chuan, Yale College Dean Jonathan Halloway, Governing Board members, Yale-NUS faculty, Yale-NUS staff, parents, friends of the college, class of 2017, and most importantly, class of 2018. Welcome. Welcome to our second First Assembly. I have to begin by congratulating our class of 2018. I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to see you all here as students of the college. For admissions, this is really our high point. Greeting you as students and not prospective students is something amazing. We are so proud of this class. Last year, after our inaugural class arrived, I started to get advice from our faculty and our leadership saying, "This is a great class, just do it again." We were wondering if we were just lucky the first year. But you, this class, you've proven that Yale-NUS College is an opportunity that top students from around the world seek out. You have exceeded our expectations, and I want you to know you are exactly the class we were hoping for. You were not easy to find. Our admissions staff traveled thousands of miles to find you. Over 40 countries, 3 huge fights in admissions over who got to go to which country, 1 stranded admissions officer in the Middle East, 2 rescheduled trips, and countless cups of coffee to keep us going. We held tea sessions, coffee chats, information sessions. For some, we traveled to your school and we got to meet you face to face. Some of you, you didn't get to know us until you came time to apply and you happened to check a box. And we got to meet you in an interview, and it was there we could understand your excitement for this opportunity. Out of 12,127, I'm counting, applications, you were selected not just because of your grades, your extracurriculars, your essays, but also because of your spirit, your passion, and your desire to make the most out of this Yale-NUS experience. This class is truly remarkable. As you know, you're a class of over 170 with 35 different citizenships. A number of you have lived outside of your birth country for more than a year, including China, South Africa, Indonesia, Germany, Thailand, Japan, Swaziland, and the UK. You've spent the past couple of days getting to know each other, but for the others in the audience, you should know that these students are already successful entrepreneurs, published authors, star athletes, serious musicians, dedicated community service volunteers, and speakers of dozen languages. I want to give you a little bit more example of who makes up this class. Some of you founded Couch Theater, a group here in Singapore that self-proclaims to be an upbeat and offbeat theater company. One of you is a national debate champion. I can't wait till the faculty meet him. And several of you were on national debate teams. One of you owns 7 patents in the healthcare field. One of you is on a science team that placed second nationally. Few of you are professional models and actors. One of you founded Singlish, a group that teaches English through singing. One of you is a columnist for a national newspaper. Several of you started philosophy and astronomy clubs. A number of you have written and produced films and plays. One of you is a professional knitwear designer, and one of you started a men's fashion business. Many of you are editors-in-chief. One of you worked in a hawker center. I want some recommendations after. One of you interviewed the last surviving interrogator of the Nuremberg trial for a profile piece in your school newspaper. Many of you play musical instruments. One of you is in a barbershop chorus. One of you plays bagpipes. One of you made me look up what a marimba is. One of you founded a company to fund solar panels on high schools. Look, I've left out so much. I haven't even scratched the surface. Let's just suffice it to say that every one of you has stood out, and every one of you has great potential. But in addition to introducing you to each other, I have a message to deliver that may not be the easiest message. From here on out, it's not what you've done in the past that matters. It's what you will do during these next 4 years. You have run so hard to get to where you are, and what you get is a blank slate to create who and what you want to be. I'm sure you've received advice from family and friends about college and what to do, and rather than give you advice directly, I thought it would be good for you to give advice to each other, since you'll be doing that a lot in the next 4 years. So below, I am giving you a few snippets from your applications, your interviews, and our conversations. The first piece of advice is, home is where you make it. And I quote, "And then home wasn't a long-lost place anymore, hardly even a place. It was a connection, it was a feeling. It was left in the people whom I met and the people whom I love. It was no longer locked within the physical. Now it became something tangible, intangible, and immeasurable, something of the soul, caught within trust and friendship and a unity of being." About joy and attitude, I quote, "My trip to Ghana taught me that joy is far greater than happiness, and it comes from attitude within rather than circumstances without. Be curious and get outside your comfort zone." This quote comes from a student who was teaching small children in a country where she didn't speak the language. That's the one thing I love about kids. You can have a vocabulary of 6 words, and they still be thrilled to be your friend. Their curiosity is stronger than their fear of the unknown. Try everything. Essentially, I quote, "Essentially, Yale-NUS has answered my million-dollar question, can I learn psychology and neurology, debate about philosophical issues, pursue my love of literature, have a go at theoretical art, finally understand the difference between anthropology and sociology, keep in touch with life science, all while being surrounded by the people who want to answer it just as much as I do. Yale-NUS has said yes, and I can only respond with the same answer. We are all in this together." And I quote, David Foster Wallace says in his famous commencement speech, "This is water," that one of the most important things in life is in gaining awareness of what is so real and essential, so hidden in plain sight all around us. By removing myself from the perpetual scotomas present in my environment, I have come to see this clearer than anything else. We lose something precious as we get older, and nobody ever pauses to consider it. We forget that as social beings, our happiness is fundamentally intertwined with our own. We forget the meaning of education, something that is not only meant to benefit the individual, but also those around you. And finally, finding your own path. When I was younger, the vast openness and endless possibilities of life was an exciting prospect. Choreography was exactly that. Imitating other choreographers was a good starting point, but I slowly evolved this to extract the essence of my style. I searched within myself for the steps to dance and realized that I had complete autonomy to create something beautiful with it. I need to start doing that with my life. I really can't wait to see what you all do with the Yale-NUS experience. Remember, you are ready for this next step in your life's journey. Go and make the best of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Green. One of the great things about creating a college from scratch is that you don't have anybody doing anything before you. You have no precedents. But of course, our college does have a president, and he's about to say a few words. Please welcome on stage our president without precedent, President Pericles Lewis.
Thank you very much, Key. Governing Board Chairperson Kay Kuok, Mdm Kay Kuok, National University of Singapore President Tan Chor Chuan, National University of Singapore Provost Ta Neng Chai, Yale College Dean Jonathan Holloway, Governing Board members, Yale-NUS colleagues, students, friends. Our brand new gowns and the pomp of our first-year assembly remind me of a passage in William Wordsworth's poem, The Prelude, about his first arrival at St. John's College of Cambridge University. Perhaps some of our students are feeling the way that Wordsworth felt in his first month of college as he looked around at his classmates, recognizing a few from his home county in the north of England, and getting to know others quickly. My spirit was up, my thoughts were full of hope. Some friends I had, acquaintances who there seemed friends, poor, simple schoolboys now hung round with honor and importance. In a world of welcome faces, up and down I roved. Questions, directions, warnings, and advice flowed in upon me from all sides, fresh day of pride and pleasure. I am sure that you, our students, have already received plenty of questions and advice from the Dean's Fellows, the sophomores, your faculty advisors, and your classmates. I hope that you all feel great pride and pleasure in joining Yale-NUS College. And perhaps, like Wordsworth, you feel that your whole experience of college so far is a kind of dream. Writing of the other inhabitants of Cambridge, Wordsworth wrote, "I was the dreamer, they the dream. I roamed delighted through the motley spectacle, gowns grave or gaudy, doctors, students, streets, courts, cloisters, flocks of churches, gateways, towers. And even if our own courtyards and cloisters, gateways and towers will not be ready for a few months yet, I am sure that the varied streets of Singapore provide a remarkable spectacle for all of you who have come from abroad. And even those who grew up in Singapore may feel, like Wordsworth, that you have been suddenly transformed from children into men and women." In 1787, when Wordsworth arrived in Cambridge, St. John's College was already 376 years old. Yale-NUS College, by contrast, has only recently celebrated its first birthday. Yet, entering the college means becoming part of a tradition. Most obviously, you are joining the traditions of the National University of Singapore, which is 109 years old, and Yale University, which is 313 years old. And if you add that up, that means that combined, we're older than St. John's College was in 1787. But more immediately, you are joining and will be helping to shape the new traditions of a community of learning founded by these two great universities. I would like to speak today about the combination of tradition and innovation that we are developing here at Yale-NUS, and to suggest some of the ways that you can help us to find the right combination of these two forces as we build this institution. Colleges are to some extent conservative institutions. In many respects, they have not changed very much since the founding of Cambridge and Oxford in the Middle Ages. They are small communities in which students and teachers live in close proximity, sharing facilities like a dining hall, a library, art spaces, and nowadays science and computer labs. They rely on tradition to pass on their identity. It is sometimes said that once something at a college has happened twice, it becomes a tradition. Even these brand new academic gowns would probably not look too out of place in medieval Cambridge. More importantly, a major part of the role of a college that educates undergraduates is to preserve and transmit knowledge. And while knowledge itself can be progressive or radical, the job of preserving and transmitting it is fundamentally about conserving important parts of the past. But we're building a new college, and we are building it in an age that has been described as one of disruptive innovation. Some critics have suggested that colleges will become as obsolete as brick-and-mortar bookstores or travel agencies. Not that there's anything wrong with brick-and-mortar bookstores. I believe that colleges remain essential institutions and that a number of transformations in our global community create new opportunities for Yale-NUS as an innovative college. I hope that you, our students, can join us as we build a college that takes advantage of these opportunities and becomes a part of the tradition of innovation here at Yale-NUS. There are several opportunities in today's world that make possible the founding of a college like Yale-NUS. We really could not have founded this college 25 years ago when I was an undergraduate. The information and communications revolution make possible the collaboration between two universities on opposite ends of the world, Yale and NUS. They also make it possible for those of you from 35 different countries to have learned a great deal about the college even before you applied and were interviewed for admission, often via Skype. They will allow you to keep in touch with your family and friends while you are here. The fact that travel has become relatively less expensive makes much of our international network possible. In some ways, the travel even from another continent to Singapore is shorter than the trip Wordsworth took from the north of England to Cambridge, although I realize that the 24 hours of air travel from New Haven probably still seemed like a long trip to Dean Holloway, our new Dean of Yale College, who's joined us. Our curriculum is designed around the understanding that in this new context, information and data are constantly available in huge quantities. The skills we hope to teach you involve discerning how to make the best use of that information and data, and to ask questions of a deeper type that go beyond what is readily available on the internet. We therefore focus very little on rote learning, and much more on active engagement and interpretation, aspects of education that are best delivered in small classes and in discussions outside formal class time. You will discover in your own classrooms and residential colleges both the values you share with others here and the ways in which you can challenge each other's values. Of course, the fact that everyone here speaks English well is another effect of globalization that makes the college possible. But I do want to emphasize the importance of learning other languages in order to have a better understanding of other cultures and ways of seeing the world. Nonetheless, we live in a world that has become more integrated by shared language, technology, infrastructure, and culture. Now, many of you visited the college a few months ago as part of our Experience Yale-NUS weekends. A colleague from New Haven, who was here at the same time, commented on a feeling of collective effervescence at Yale-NUS, the sense that we are working together in a moment of founding the institution, and that therefore we can realize possibilities that would be hard to undertake in an older, more established college. My colleague was referring to a concept articulated by the sociologist Emil Durkheim. Similarly, the sociologist Max Weber spoke of the moments of charisma in the founding of institutions, when anything seems possible and conventional ways of doing things are swept aside. Weber recognized that the great challenge of making a successful institution lies not just in the excitement of doing things for the first time, but in the process of making the institution durable. Weber called this Veralltäglichung, the German for making something every day. How do we take our effervescence and enthusiasm and make them a lasting and permanent part of our college culture. You've probably all heard about some of the innovations of the past year that are on the verge of becoming traditions. Learning across boundaries, Week 7, Halloween haunted houses, clubs like the Yale-NUS International Relations and Political Association, YERPA, or the Society of Yale-NUS College Dancers, SYNCT, mystery internships, our common curriculum classes, symposia in philosophy and political thought, scientific inquiry poster sessions, summer research fellowships. And this year there will be many firsts. Tomorrow you will go on our first orientation trips in Southeast Asia. Soon you will found our student government. You will move into residential colleges. You will create new clubs and teams. You will take new classes from new professors. And by next year, you will fill our new studios with music and art. Innovation is part of the mandate of the faculty as well, both in their development of a distinctive curriculum and pedagogy, and in their research, which helps to expand the frontiers of knowledge. On the basis of a very old tradition of faculty-student interaction in a residential college, we are finding new opportunities for growth and learning. The first time we make a possibility into a reality, it is an experiment. The second time we do it, it is a tradition. There are plenty of new experiments for all of us to undertake together this year, and even more traditions to shape, renew, and transform. I invite all of you to help us to build this new experimental world and to decide which parts of it we should make enduring for future generations of Yale-NUS students. I invite you to make collective effervescence part of the everyday experience of life at Yale-NUS. I invite you to help us build a new and a lasting institution. I welcome you to Yale-NUS College. Thank you.
Thank you, President Lewis. One of the things I appreciate most about Yale-NUS College is the opportunity to create your own student organization. We have a wide variety of student groups already established in our first year, catering to a diverse range of student interests. And one of those interests is a cappella singing, where a group of performers produce a piece of music just using their voices, partly because they can't afford musical instruments, but mostly because karaoke is expensive. Coming up next is a performance by one of Yale-NUS College's first a cappella groups, which is named after the first thing one of their members found in their pockets. In any other world, they would be known as the lint balls, the loose change, or the crumpled receipts. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the Wallets.
To Scarborough Fair, parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. She once was a true love of mine.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're the Wallets, and we're an informal a cappella group from the class of 2017, that first came together during our summer immersion in New Haven. Now, we sort of established this tradition of doing ethnic and folk songs. And as you've just seen, that was Scarborough Fair, a traditional English ballad that we first performed St. Patrick's Day earlier this year. Next up for you, we have a long-standing crowd favorite, an original medley of various folk songs from all around the world. It has a special place in our heart because it was the first song that we ever performed in our capacity as the Wallets in New Haven. Sophomore class, please forgive us for doing this to death. But if you can forgive us and bring yourself to sing along, please sing along with us. 5, 6, 7, 8. Vuma, 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 who sing this way? Vuma, 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 who sing this way? Kaya zuini kunesi temiso. Vuma, vuma, who sing this way? Kaya zuini kunesi temiso. Vuma, vuma, who sing this way? Once a jolly swagman sat by a billabong under the shade of a coolabah tree, and he sang as he watched and waited till his billy boy. You come a waltzing Matilda with me, waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda. You come a waltzing Matilda with me, and he sang as he watched and waited till his billy boy. You come a waltzing Matilda with me. Farewell to you, my own true love. I am going far, far away. I am bound for California, and I know that I'll return someday. So fare thee well, my own true love. When I return, united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that grieves me, but my darling, when I think of thee. Oh, I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. I'm going to Louisiana, my true love for to see. It rained all night the day I left, the weather it was dry. The sun so hot I froze to death, Susanna, don't you cry. Oh, Susanna, oh, don't you cry for me. For I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. Boom, boom, boom. Di mana dia, anak kambing saya. Anak kambing saya yang makan daun talas. Di mana dia, buah hati saya. Buah hati saya bagai telur dikupas. Chan Mari Chan, Chan Mari Chan, Chan Mari Chan, ketipu payo. Chan Mari Chan, Chan Mari Chan, Chan Mari Chan, ketipu payo. She'll be coming round the mountains when she comes. She'll be coming round the mountains when she comes. She'll be coming round the mountains. She'll be coming round the mountains. She'll be coming round the mountains when she comes. She'll be driving 6 white horses when she comes. She'll be driving 6 white horses when she comes. She'll be driving 6 white horses. She'll be driving 6 white horses. She'll be driving 6 white horses when she comes. Apologies again to all professors in sophomore class because you guys must be so sick of that. But for our final song, we thought we'd bring out something a little closer to home. When we first assembled as Yale-NUS's first class, we all sang the song to welcome everybody into this new community of learning in Asia for the world. So the song is very close to the hearts of most Singaporeans, and it's a happy coincidence that our 49th National Day is just around the corner. So we'd just like to repeat the same gesture we had last year by welcoming our new class of 2018,
wherever they may come from, to their new island home.
Whenever I am feeling low, I look around me and I know there's a place that will stay within me. Wherever I may choose to go, I will always recall the city, know every street and shore, sail down the river which brings us life, winding through my Singapore. This is home, truly, where I know I must be, where my dreams wait for me, where the river always flows. This is home, surely, as my senses tell me. This is where I won't be alone, for this is where I know it's home. When there are troubles to go through, we'll find a way to start anew. There is comfort in the knowledge that home's about is what people do. So we'll build our troops together, just like we've done before. Just like the river which brings us life, there'll always be Singapore. This is home, truly, where I know I must be, where my dreams wait for me, where the river always flows. This is home, surely, as my senses tell me. This is where I won't be alone, for this is where I know it's home, for this is where I know we're home.
Thank you, Wallets, for that amazing performance. As the parents here today would know, it takes courage to volunteer to be in charge of 300 energetic young adults. Yale-NUS College is fortunate enough to have found the perfect man for the job. I personally have always appreciated how calm and chill he is with all of us. Please give it up for your Dean of Students, Dean Kyle Farley.
I should just take this opportunity to let you know that one of the bands for the students is actually called A Community of Learning, and the faculty have their own a cappella group, which is called the Lecture Notes. If we're fortunate, maybe they'll perform afterwards. So each year, our incoming first-year students will sign the Record of Students book to symbolize the beginning of their journey as Yale-NUS students. Today, the class of 2017 will bestow the Record of Students to the class of 2018. To represent the class of 2017, I would like to call out Ong Chi Yao. And representing the class of 2018 is Jamie Lynn Bautalar. Please welcome her on stage. I would like to invite the chair of the Yale-NUS Governing Board, Mdm Kay Kuok, and the Yale-NUS President, Pericles Lewis, to officially start the signing ceremony.
Thank you, Dean Farley. We would like to invite Madam Kuok and President Lewis to sign the cover page for the class of 2018 in the record of students.
And now, Chio and Jamie will sign the record of students.
We would now like to invite Madam Kuok and President Lewis to step forward for a group photo with Chiao and Jamie.
And with that, Yale-NUS College would like to officially welcome
Our new first years. Thank you, Madam Kuok and President Lewis. We would like to invite you back to your seats.
Thank you for coming to the First Year Assembly 2014. We hope you have enjoyed the ceremony this afternoon. After the ceremonial procession takes its leave, we would like to invite everyone to a tea reception that has been set up outside in the lobby. Class of 2018, please stay behind for your first class photo. Thank you and have a great afternoon.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remain standing as the ceremonial procession takes its leave.